Hello, everybody. How's it going? It's me. Now, this is me doing a live video. We'll talk a little bit about Black Panther, but I'm also going to do what I normally do on Mondays. I would normally do a writing time. So I'm going to probably do something fell. I apologize. I was eating some popcorn. And just going to talk a little bit about Black Panther, what I loved about it. I'm going to try to keep these spoilers at a minimum just because that way I don't end up telling too much. Because I want people to really go see the movie. That's the thing that's important. So anyway, just to let you know, first things first, I went to go see it Saturday during the weekend, and I really enjoyed it. It's funny, there'll be times where you'll hear me refer to myself as my 8-year-old self, because there are moments when, I could see my 8-year-old self dancing in the chair next to me, just having a time of his life watching this movie. And, I just started to think about that, because I think when I see a great movie, there's an 8-year-old me. I think when I was 8, I want to say I went to go see E.T. probably. I was 8 years old. Anyway, so that's one of the reasons I was talking about my 8-year-old self, because it's the first movie that I really remember going to see. That I thought was really cool and awesome. So anyway, so I'll talk a little bit about Black Panther and the experiences I had with that. Now, first things first, I will say this. Uh, Black Panther was a movie that is bigger than its scope. What I mean by that is it does a lot of world building. It does a lot of world creating in a very short time. It not only builds what Wakanda is, but how much more advanced Wakanda is than everybody else in the Marvel Universe. Like, I can't wait till Tony Stark shows up in Wakanda and realize he's really behind a bit. And I really think that I'd be interested in it when that happens. Because, Tony Stark is nowhere near what Wakanda is. Like, his tech's good, Wakanda's tech's better. Uh, there's a scene early on in the movie where they're discussing, and they're showing it using sand. It's like this movable sand that's on the deal, and so it works on there. So I think it's really cool because it gives a bit of a description of what's going on and everything. So I think it's really kind of cool. But anyway, so it just talks about the history of the world, kind of as it relates to the Black Panther's world. It also has the jet that where, you know, when the jet crashes that Captain America flies in with. You see that jet crashing during that little image, and it kind of links it to the Marvel Universe without really linking it to the Marvel Universe. So I think that's really cool. Another thing that happens is during the course of the movie is, as they're going through, there's a lot of stuff talking about how vibranium is so precious and how important. There's a bit. The things I love about some things I really love about the movie. First of all, is Killmonger. Killmonger is this villain that he is every bit as deserving to be the villain, but he has a legit axe to grind because he legitimately feels like he's part of the royal family and he should be where Black Panther is. He should be at the throne. He should be sitting on the throne. So it's really incredible to see kind of how that works because as time goes on and you see him, you really don't see him for the first little bit of the film. They build Black Panther to the point where he has to fight against a challenger from a different tribe than his for the right to become the Black Panther. And so whenever he does that, he gets depowered. And so there's a serum that he drinks, and all of a sudden he loses the power of the Black Panther. And so he has to fight these people, fight this guy from the ape tribe. And when I say ape tribe, please understand, don't read too much into that. There's an ape god that's in that part of the world in Africa that really has existed for quite some time in Africa myth and folklore. That Stan Lee and them, when they created the character, used to kind of create this character called Man Ape. Of course, in 2017, you're not gonna have a guy named Man Ape running around. So this guy challenged Black Panther, and Black Panther fought him. And there was a line in there where Black Panther's mother says, "Show them who you are." Show them who you are. And it's like I was like, oh my gosh, Black Panther's mother watched Moana because there's that scene in that line, and I thought that was interesting. But then also, there's the family thing is so awesome. I love the way they do the family build up and everything. I love him and his sister's interaction. There's a scene where, they're doing the armor check and everything. And he's like, well, my suit works fine. And his sister's like, Shiri's like, yeah, but just because your suit works doesn't mean it's fully functional. And so all of a sudden there's a point where he's wearing the, what he refers to as the Jesus walk shoes because they're like sandals. And she goes, what are those? And brings that meme back. And he tells the shoes and everything. And so all of a sudden, there's a point where they're doing this whole thing, and she gives him this little soul, and he steps into these souls, and then all of a sudden they form sneakers, very similar to the Back to the Future sneakers. So there's a Back to the Future Easter egg there, and he says these are modeled after that movie that Papa likes so much. I call them sneakers because you'll be sneaking around in them, that type of thing. So it was just a funny joke, kind of a dad joke, but it worked. And so there's all these things going on with the family. His mother was, very commemorative of him and really wanted him to succeed. And I'm really glad. It was really awesome to see that. It was awesome not only to see that, but also how they developed Killmonger into a true villain. You look at the tribes. Some of the tribes didn't feel like T'Challa was going to be the right leader. And even one of the tribes even turned against him, because Killmonger did something that T'Challa didn't do. Claw, they had an opportunity to catch Claw. If you remember Claw from Civil War. Was it Civil War? No, Age of Ultron. I keep saying Civil War. Age of Ultron, the guy who got a bit of the vibranium that Ultron ended up using to create the Vision. That was that was where he got the vibranium from, was from Wakanda. He blew up a part of it, and so he hurt and damaged a lot of people. And so all these things happened, and different things went on. And the funny thing about it was, above all else, is that Black Panther really had to develop as he was, because you had Killmonger, who you find out during the course of the movie, his uncle was the brother, not his uncle, his father was Black Panther's uncle, which meant he was his father's brother. And so there was a point where something happened, and they found out that he had let Claw into Wakanda. He gave him the access to Wakanda he needed to get the vibranium out. And so there was a gun involved. Forrest Whitaker's character was involved, the young version. Next thing you know, Black Panther's dad, as the Black Panther, had to kill this guy. And so it's very hard to deal with, but they created their own enemy with Killmonger. And there's a point where it's really interesting, because Black Panther is in the astral plane, or in the area of the ancestral plane is what they call it. And he goes the first time, and his father's just talking to him about preparing him to be a king and all that. And Black Panther says, "I'm not ready to do this without you." And then when he realizes that, Black Panther's father just looks at him and says, "Well, if I didn't prepare you for death," super packed theater, barely got any seats with a big bucket of popcorn and a drink. Yeah, Metrosonic. Yeah, Black Panther. When I went to go see it, I'll be honest, when I went to go see it, I didn't expect this many people to be in there. I live in a little town in central Kentucky, and so I went to go see the movie, and it was almost packed. I mean, we're talking about everybody, different ages. You had families in there with little kids. It was really cool, and there were a lot of people in there wanting to see it, and they were excited. Matter of fact, when the first fight happened, where T'Challa had to defend the right to be the Black Panther, when the fight was over and he had won the fight, there was a little girl that just stood up, little blonde-haired, cute little girl, about 4 years old, stood up and clapped and goes, "Yay! Yay!" And I'm just sitting there going, yes, that's the kind of excitement I feel. So it was really cool and awesome in that regard. Anyway, so all these things happened during the course of the movie, and then you begin to realize, yeah, it was crazy. You're absolutely right, Metrosonic. It was a crazy movie in that regard. There was a lot of beautiful colors. There's a lot of spectacular clothing. The tech is outrageous. When you look at the tech and you look at the different things that was going on in that movie, like I said, Tony Stark should be jealous. If he ever makes it to Wakanda in these movies, he should be jealous. Now, getting to the car chase scene that Metrosonic mentioned, first of all, you gotta understand, let me tell you how advanced technology is in Wakanda. The leader of the Dora Milaje and Nakia end up chasing after this group of terrorists that Claw has with him. And so at one point they're chasing after him, and all of a sudden they're running out, and they're going, "Well, where's T'Challa?" And they say he'll catch up. And they throw this disc on the car. Next thing you know, Shuri, who's in Wakanda, is driving the car from Wakanda remotely in this area. Black Panther's on top of the car, and it's crazy. They're running around chasing people. At one point, the cars get blocked. They're shooting at the cars. Claw's trying to shoot at the cars. Different things like that happen. And at one point, one thing they talk about in the new technology of Black Panther's new suit that he's wearing is they have kinetic absorbers. And so the more damage he takes, the more kinetic energy his suit stores. And so he lands on top of this car, and his sister's like, "Your suit's glowing purple. You need to let off that energy before it destroys the suit." He jumps out like he hits it, and like that big wave of energy just comes up. All that energy that he'd been hit with the whole time just dead ends the car, just flips it all over the ground. It's crazy. Set up catching Claw. end up taking him trying to do the right thing. Black Panther is talking to General Ross. General Ross is from Civil War. You saw him in Civil War when they captured Captain America and Falcon. And so anyway, so he's in there. They're trying to do an arms deal with Claw, and they're basically talking. There's some funny exchanges. Anyway, Kilgrave ends up breaking out. Thank you, Metrosonic, for the agreeing. And anyway, so they break out. End up finding out Killmonger breaks out Claw. Through the process of time, Killmonger ends up shooting Claw and bringing him to one of the villagers that Black Panther had promised to bring Claw to initially. And it didn't work out because of course, the capture. Well, when that happened, he brought him to him, and so all of a sudden you start seeing the betrayal. You start seeing all these different things going on, people setting up against Black Panther. Killmonger ends up showing up, challenging Black Panther to the right to the throne. He challenges him. They end up fighting. He doesn't finish the duel because he just picks Black Panther up and throws him over the waterfall. And then says about, I'm your king now. And it's interesting because everybody in Wakanda had such a chivalry about themselves. A lot of the stuff that they spoke was kind of Shakespearean almost, except that there weren't a whole lot of doubts and notes and all that stuff. But anyway, so this guy just comes, Michael B. Jordan just comes in like, yo, what up, auntie? He's very Americanized and it's obvious. But even in that, you get that idea that had he not been left to see his father die, had he been taken to Wakanda, had he been shown what happened, had been shown the traditions, there may have been a way to save him. But anyway, so they go through this whole deal. He takes over the kingdom. He concocts this plan where basically he's like, I'm going to send out all the weapons, all the spies. And so you've got this ragtag group of people. You've got Black Panther's mother. You've got, Shuri, his sister. You've got Everett Ross sitting there, and they're going at it, and they're trying to figure out a way to deal with that. What about the king on the other side as a big bark thing? Other side, are we talking about, are you talking about the guy from the monkey tribe? Or are you talking about the friend of his that he goes in with? Yeah, I think I'll get to that in a minute. So anyway, so they go through this whole thing. They go to the monkey tribe. They offer up the heart-shaped herb, which gives Black Panther's power to him in order to help dethrone Killmonger. And so he goes and basically shows him that Black Panther, the fisherman found Black Panther in the sea. And so he was in a coma. And so they used the herb to try to bring him back to life. But there's this big moment where Black Panther is sitting there with his father and all the other Black Panthers before him. He looks at him and says, I can't come here yet. I can't go. This is a monster of your creation, father. You were willing to protect Wakanda, but in order to protect Wakanda, you created a means to destroy it. I have to stop this. There's no other way it can be done. I have to stop it. And so that's what happens. So Black Panther goes back. The person I referred to was one who resurrected him back to go, oh, yeah. So that would, I can't, I think his name was Utabe. That was his name. That was the king that was over that other village. Like I said, he was, in the comic books, they call him Man-Ape. But they weren't going to probably call him that in a movie for 2017. They wasn't going to do it. And I can understand that. Because you notice he wore the monkey, the gorilla mask and everything. He was supposed to be representing one of the gorilla gods that were in Africa. So, but anyway, so he ended up coming in, and there's a really funny scene where Ross and them are in there, and Ross tried to speak, and it was like, it started going, and then finally he was like, you do not speak. If you speak again, I will grind you up, kill you, and feed you to my children. And he looks at him funny, and then he goes, I'm joking. We're all vegetarians. And so that's kind of a funny scene. But anyway, so you get to this big moment. Black Panther's back. His sister brings him the last armored version of his armor, current version, and everything. So he does all this, and so he's ready to go. And he goes to him and goes, you could join us and fight with us. And he's like, I'm not going to join you and fight with you. And Black Panther makes a powerful statement. He says, Killmonger is going to destroy Wakanda. When he comes to destroy Wakanda, do you not think he's going to come for you as well? Who do you think he'll come for next? And so at that point, he kind of leaves him that way. And so T'Challa goes back to get ready for the biggest fight of his life. he goes back to, there's a plane going out with a bunch of weapons to the spies and everything, and then all of a sudden the plane crashes. And you see Michael B. Jordan sitting there with the Dora Milaje, who have not left his side, even though they don't necessarily like him. They support the throne. They protect the throne, so they're not willing to leave it. And so there's a point where all of a sudden, you know, Black Panther comes out, and he's like, as you can see, I am not dead. As you can see, I also never yielded. So because I never yielded, our challenge is not complete. And so Killmonger, of course, is like, man, we threw all that stuff out, man. No more challenges. At that point, the Dora Milaje are like, you have no honor, you have no grace, you're not deserving of being the king. And they turned on him right then and there. Like, it was the group of guys for the tribe that turned on Black Panther with Killmonger because he brought him Claw. They went out to try to fight Black Panther, and they're going. Next thing you know, his suit starts going purple again. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. He could discharge that energy. What's he going to do? So he jumps up in the air, jumps over a group of them with their shields, and just disperses a bunch of them. So the Dora Milaje are going to fight, and then the 4 highest-ranking members of the Dora Milaje fight Michael B. Jordan's character, while the rest of them go down and fight for the rest of the other tribe. And so they're all fighting. They're going. So at one point, Black Panther notices that Shuri is being attacked, his sister, and Nakia is also dressed in the garb. And it's just crazy. A bunch of people fighting. And I'm just going to say this to kind of wrap this side of it up. They go through this whole thing. You end up seeing Black Panther and Golden Jaguar, as they call him in the movie, end up fighting each other in this cave or whatever where they mine the vibranium. And it's interesting because early on they talk about this light bridge that they use to transport the vibranium that renders it inert. And so as they're fighting, Black Panther tells him, says, hey, go ahead and you know, turn on the bridge on bridge 4. He's like, but if you do that, you won't have any of your vibranium shielding. And he goes, neither will he. And so they're fighting each other. It comes on a couple of times. They're fighting each other. And by the way, I'm going to say this one thing. War rhinos, okay? If you always wonder what a rhino would look like with battle armor, go watch this movie because they've got them, okay? My boy's riding up on him. He sees Man-Ape, because while Black Panther and them are fighting inside, Man-Ape's tribe shows up and tries to join Wakanda, basically, the good side of Wakanda, and they go to fighting, and then next thing you know, the guy that's over the main tribe, he's all like, yeah, those rhinos were crazy. Next thing you know, he goes to ram him, and the leader of the Dora Milaje, who he loves, jumps out in front of him while he's about to charge it, and he just stops the rhino, and he goes to him, grabs his knife out and says, would you kill me for the sake of this king? Would you kill me for the sake of Wakanda? And she goes, for Wakanda? Puts the knife to his throat, says, absolutely. And so he puts his knife down, and that stops the fight outside. Black Panther, in a moment, they're fighting. Michael B. Jordan and him are fighting. And then Michael B. Jordan gets the sword knocked out of his hand that he has. Next thing you know, Black Panther grabs it right as it's about to fall, right as the light bridge is about to stop working. And he stabs Michael B. Jordan's character. And Michael B. Jordan looks at him and says, you know, my father told me that the sunsets in Wakanda are the most beautiful things to ever see with the human eyes. So Black Panther gets him on the elevator, takes him up to the top of the mountain so he can see the sunset in Wakanda. And Black Panther even then tries to extend mercy to him. He says, we can still heal you. He says, why? So I can be a slave so you can lock me up? He says, nah, bury me out in the sea with my ancestors who jumped off of the slave ships. Here's the thing. I'd rather be free and dead than be a man's slave to be alive. And so he died. And so what's real interesting, and I saw this at a point in an interview somewhere, he was technically a Black Panther. Michael B. Jordan's character in the movie was a Black Panther. He drank the elixir of the heart-shaped herb. He became a Black Panther for a little while. So technically, if he died in that movie, he can show back up in the realm of the dead in the next film. So that'll be interesting if they do that. But anyway, so basically at the end, you start realizing that Nakia's influence has gotten on the Black Panther where, you know, she feels like that the Wakanda can help the world if Wakanda's willing to help the world. And so you see him at the very beginning back at the place where his uncle got killed. And it's him and his sister. And Shuri's like, well, I thought when you brought me to America for the first time, we were going to go to Coachella or Disney World, you know. And he's just like, no, this is where our father made a grave mistake and killed his brother and caused an enemy to come amongst us to try to destroy us from the inside. She says, so it's a shame. The building's going to be destroyed. He says, no, it's not. I bought that building, and that building over there, and that building beside it. And we're going to set up a Wakandan embassy for humanitarian efforts. And the kid's going to be over that end. You're going to be over the science division. And so it's very powerful because they end up bringing the jet that they flew in onto the basketball court. The kids trip out. One of the kids say, hey, isn't that a Chitauri thing? You know, go back to Avengers, the first Avengers movie, because that's the Chitauri are the aliens who attacked. And so they're like, man, we can strip this for parts and everything. And then Shiri goes up to the vehicle and says, no, I wouldn't do that if I were you. And so one of the kids walk up to Black Panther. He's like, is this yours? He says, yes, it is. He says, who are you? And he just got a grin. So that's how the movie ends. I think it's a very powerful movie with a very powerful message, because even in the end credits trailer scene, Black Panther basically has a line in it, and he's looking at the UN, man. And the first thing they say at the end, he's at the people at the UN, and he says, hello, my name is T'Challa. I am the king of Wakanda. And we've decided that Wakanda will help you become a better world. Because in the state of the world today, there are many people who feel like there's more that brings us together than divides us. And we'd like to show our power to the world and show them that we can be united. And then one of these guys comes up and he's like, oh, that's cute. I respect you, King, but what can a group of shepherds and farmers do? They all just kind of smile because they know better. And then, second scene, you get Bucky from Captain America Civil War and from Captain America Winter Soldier. And his Black Panther sister shows up, and these kids are messing with him at first, and this Black Panther sister shows up and it's like, hey, how are you feeling? He says, okay, I feel better, my mind is clearer. She said, good, we have a lot of work to do. Let's go. And so the idea is that, Bucky talks about at the end of Civil War that, he needs to find a way to get this influence out of his head so that the Hydra stuff's not there anymore. This is the way he's doing it. Shiri and the people from Wakanda are helping him clear up his head. And I think that's pretty awesome. So anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on Black Panther? If you've seen the movie, tell me what your favorite moments are. If you haven't seen the movie, what do you hope are your favorite scenes? Talk to me about how you feel like this is going to affect the Marvel MCU. And by the way, guys, fun fact, $235 million as of today is what it's made so far domestically, I believe. I believe it's just domestic. Anyway, yes, the fight scenes were amazing. Oh my gosh, as a martial arts fan, the fight scenes were incredible. So that's another thing I'll talk about. Leave that information down in the comments for those who've seen the movie. We'll dialogue about it. I'll talk back with you. Listen, as always, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. But thank you guys so much. Those who came in, Metro Sonic came in and chatted for a bit. I love it. I'm glad he's checked out my channel. And he's an awesome artist. Go check his channel out as well. But I get my update, I'll go ahead and do a link back to him so you can see him. Anyway, guys, take care. Love you. As always, be blessed. Be a blessing to somebody, guys. Until next time, you're loved. You're appreciated. No problem, man. And since it's a Black Panther movie, how else can we end it but Wakanda forever, guys?